Yeah, we're recording. Hey guys, we're back. This is Beat The Line Broadcast. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus. I'm here with Dravey and Key 3 Picks. It's Dana White Contender Series. We got week 4. We're going to give you the full breakdowns. We're going to go through everything pretty quickly and hopefully get you guys set up. This is going to be this is actually a pretty good Dana White Contender Series card. There's a lot of prospects. We did lose, I think, the best fight with Macmillan pulling out, but I think it'll still be a good card. Let's just get right into it. First fight is Quillian Salkilld versus Gage Young. Looking at these two gentlemen, you got Quillian Salkilld. He's 24, 6 feet tall, 6'1". Gage Young is 24, 5'9". They don't really give the reaches here. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Quillian anywhere from -185 to -200. You can get Gage Young +160 to +180. Drav, I'll let you go first. I mean, I feel like both these guys are really good at stuff that the other one isn't that good at. So it's kind of going to make for a good fight. What do you think? Do you think Gage Lee is fixed his gas tank, or how do you think this is going to go?
I think it's a very good fight. Like, that's one of my favorite on the card, actually. I think it's going to be a banger for the time it lasts, at least. Yeah, I'm very high on Quillian Salkilld. You know, I think this guy. I told you guys a little bit that I have someone that I think has top 15 upside in the UFC pre-show. I didn't mention who, but I think it's this guy, Salkilld. First of all, he has a very good frame for the division. You know, he's fighting at lightweight. He's 6 foot tall. He has a big reach. The guy has very good cardio. You think that he doesn't, because all of his fights were finished, like all of them. But then you look his fight where he went the 5 rounds. He looked good as the fight goes on. He fought good competition on the amateur, decent competition as a pro. He fought in Eternal MMA, which is a good promotion for Australians. And yeah, he did some good competition. And the guy is a very good grappler. He has pretty decent wrestling, good ground and pound. I like his striking also. He's long with the striking. He has a lot of tools, good kicks, good combos. He can be hittable a little bit in the pocket, which is my concern for this matchup here. Because yeah, he can be hittable in the pocket, and Gage Young, he's good in the pocket with the boxing, and he does have some power. But yeah, I don't think he's that good, to be honest. Like, the guy has some good skills. Don't get me wrong. He's tough. He has good boxing, like I said, decent power, decent wrestling of his own. But I think he lacked in the grappling, and I also think that he make a lot of mistakes in the BJJ department. Like, you can watch a lot of his fight. I mean, it's one of the fight I did the most tape on. I watched almost all their career. He got sub in round 3. I didn't find this one, but I watched all the other fights. Basically, there's a fight on the regional that he lost. I think that's the fight that he lost. He basically got flattened out in round 3. He could have get sub, but he ended up getting ground and pound. I don't think he has the best cardio, and I think that the other guy has good cardio. And yeah, I mean, even when he's on top, you know, like I said, his wrestling offense is decent, and defense offense is decent, but also defense is good when he's fresh. But he makes mistakes, man. He's always end up in bad position, even when he's on top. People almost have not an arm triangle, but a triangle choke on him, on bar. He's fighting out of his position, to his credit, but like the grappling the grappler that he's facing are not on the same level of Salkilld, I don't think. And Salkilld has a very good game off his back, you know, with the with the triangle chokes, with the arm bars, everything. And like, the guy scrambles. Salkilld is nasty. He's so good with it. And Gage Young, maybe he's gonna try to wrestle here, and if he does, he's just gonna get reversed, or maybe he's gonna get sub on top. You know, he's gonna be in trouble. Salkilld is the much better grappler, and I also believe that on the feet, like, Salkild's gonna have his way at distance striking with him. He has more tools, and you just need to be careful with the power, especially early. But then I think he should rose. I think he has, you know, multiple paths to victory. I think he can win by KO. I think he can win by sub. I think he can win by decision. I favor him as the fight goes on. Yeah, I just feel like he's the way better prospect overall, and he fought better people. And Gage Young, like I said, he's decent, but I don't think he's that good. And yeah, his finishing instinct has gotten better recently, But like sometimes he's playing off with his food a little bit, which I don't like. And yeah, I just think Salkild's overall the way better fighter. And he's also training with who's the guy? Cody Aston, I think that won
Mhm.
2 weeks ago. They trained together, and this dude's pretty good, right? And he's talking about how Salkild's like the best fighter that he's training with, and how good he is, and everything. And he's saying how much of a dog he has in him, and the cardio that he has. And even Salkid saying that Cody's always his hardest round inspiring. So yeah, I also listened to his interview. I did a lot of research for this one, and I mean, Gage Young said that basically he's gonna break Salkid as the fight goes on. So the interviewer tell him that, and then Salkid just laughed. He's not too cocky, I should say, but he's like, yeah, we'll see who break. We'll see who break. Like he's laughing a little bit. Yeah, I think he's gonna break this guy. I think he's gonna finish him. It can be by sub, it can be by KO, to be honest, because like I said, if he flat him out, he can get a ground and pound easily. So I think that's going to be a sub, but I wouldn't play the sub, because you can get burned and you can get a TKO because his ground and pound is nasty. So I think you go Sakid inside a distance or you go Sakin money line because, like I said, I also think that he has decision upside. But I think he should be minus 400 to be honest, and he's minus 200. I play him at minus 160 to win 2 units. Like I said, I'm very high on this guy, and I think he's going to be in the top 15 in the UFC lightweight division in the next 2-3 years.
Okay. Yeah. Do you want to that one fight you said you missed where he got finished? It's on you're talking about the fight versus Bobby Lee on Bellator, right? You
Uh,
can
it was not Bellator, I don't think. It was Fax 17.
no. But the guy he fought was Bobby Lee, who's a Bellator veteran. You can find that fight. It's on Bobby Lee's Instagram.
Oh,
The
okay.
king of tape who finds all the tape and does all the tape. Went and found that on his Instagram.
It's the only one I didn't find.
Yeah, but no, I think Quillian rolls here. I think Gage has a few more. Gage is going to be UFC caliber at some point. I just don't think he's there yet. Like you said, I think he makes a lot of mistakes. He's obviously, I think he fixed the gas tank, or he should have after that. But that was like his first vet lesson that you're seeing from Bobby Lee. So I don't know. I agree. I think Quillian finds the win here. Key, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that this is a Quillen spot. Um, I think I agree with Drive. I think this guy has real upside. Gage is giving up his back like it's his job consistently against low level guys. There was one guy, I think it might have been Shay Conley, but there was one guy on regionals that I had texted Drive and called him the fake Ryan Hall. And he was giving Gage problems.
Yeah.
And so I think that stuff like that is big red flags against a guy that's offense is so potent like Quillen is. Like Drop said, I do worry about him in the pocket and staying for extended periods of time. But these Aussies are coming in to the UFC and Dana White Contender Series with great game plans. They're technically sound everywhere. Their fight IQ is super high. And I think that Quillen knows that he has a very wide cardio advantage here. And I think that he's personally just going to melt Gage. I think that he's a fun guy. But pretty much every single fight he has at the pro level is under that James Krause FAC promotion, which was originally James Krause. And James Krause was originally his coach before all that betting scandal shit happened. So we know that this guy's been fed a bunch of cans. He got fucked up by Bobby Lee, gas issues. I think that this guy is big right hand or nothing here. There's not a ton of process. He'll throw a couple leg kicks. It's not like he's throwing a bunch of teeps, going to the body, jabbing. Like it's big right hand or nothing, in my opinion here. So especially with the height difference, I think that Quillen has a great build. Whenever you see 6'1", 6 foot at lightweight, it usually screams anorexic. But Quillen's like actually a pretty built out guy.
Yeah, he's big, man.
I can imagine him 6 years from now being a welterweight. I think that he has that type of size and will mature like that. So I think that there's a Quillen spot. I played him at minus 160. I just put out a free bet last night with him. I think that he's good till minus 225, minus 250 range, honestly. Great parlay piece if you don't want to eat the minus 200 right now, but I think that minus 200 is still a fine price.
Gotcha. All right. Next fight is UNSC Duben versus Shannon Clark. Duben is 4-0. She's 28, 5'4". Clark is 32, 5'6", 6'2.5". Line on these two women, Shannon Clark minus 450 to minus 500. Duben plus 300 to plus 375. Key, I'm gonna let you go first. You can break this one down. I mean, I think Clark gets this done pretty easily. You let me know what you think.
Yeah. I mean, this is my Super Bowl. Y'all know I love low level women's MMA.
Doesn't get any lower than this.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Duben, I mean, we've seen, I believe her record was 5-0. One win got taken off. I mean, it's all sorts of weird shit going on, honestly. I don't really know what to think. I will say the girl has real pop on the feet, and Shannon Clark is an absolute punching bag at distance. But in women's MMA, especially low-level women's MMA, distance management is like not a thing. There's no such thing as distance management. So like this is inevitably gonna hit the clinch. And in the clinch, I mean, Shannon Clark's a horse. I mean, we're just being honest here. Shannon Clark's a horse. She choked a girl to pissing herself last time out. I'm sure everybody saw that. I mean, this girl's an absolute horse. I didn't like her interviews. She was talking about how she doesn't watch film, how she isn't really tapped in with the MMA world, how her camp really isn't really a great camp full of fighters. I didn't like that. And I'm not high on her long term. People seem to think that she's going to make a real run in the UFC. She's just too much of a punching bag, and her grappling isn't that damn elite. I will say, up against the cage, I do like her knees. She's rough. She's mean. She has a soccer background, I believe. And that physicality, that cardio shows up in the way that she fights. I have to think to justify this price tag, she has to find a finish somewhere. And I do think that it comes in round 2, round 3, potentially. Duben has not fought anybody. All of her opponents, I believe, still have not won a fight to this day. And they were debuting at that time whenever they fought her, and they still have not won or still have not fought since. So she's getting thrown backyard girls. They're just like taking off the street, like, hey, you want to make a few bucks tonight to get your ass whooped. And she's whooping ass. I can't lie. I mean, she is doing these girls how she's supposed to. But the way in which I don't know if she can spell BJJ. So that will be interesting to find out here. But I have to assume that Clark's going to have a massive grappling advantage. Minus 450 now. I mean, once you get to minus 400 and lower, I think it starts to become a decent parlay piece. But like I said, Clark is going to get absolutely murdered one day. I don't think that it's here. But Dana White Contender Series, we know, leads to weird-ass outcomes. And Shannon Clark is just a punching bag. It just is what it is. And this girl can thump. I'm not saying take a dog shot. I think the under is fine. Shannon Clark ITD is fine. Any of that, that's the way that she has to do this in order to justify this price tag, because otherwise going to a decision against a girl who's never been tested in a fight before is a really bad look. So Shannon Clark ITD is what I'll probably be looking to.
Yeah, I'm going to look into the sub, honestly. I mean, it depends on what number we get on DraftKings with the sub. I think that's probably how she finishes it. But
keep in mind, though, with us not knowing really, I mean, we saw one bullshit grappling match on YouTube with Duben.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind, if we don't know that Duben can spell BJJ, positional KO is very, very, that's very, very
her out again. Yep.
So
that's fair. Key, our job. You got anything to add, or we should move on to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play the sub either. Just because of the way she fight in the clinch, right? Key mentioned that. I think that's like the best part of in her game. Like she has a nasty clinch game, man. Like the knees and the body and everything. Like that girl has not fought anyone, like you said. But the other point is like all of her opponents doesn't have a win in MMA, right? That's the first thing. But also she fought 4 months ago, but all the other fights are 5+ years ago. So in the last 4 years, 5 years, she has one fight. Which is like. Yeah, now you're taking a pretty big step up against Clark, who, like you said, she's not the greatest, but at least she fought somebody, And her last fight was kind of impressive to me because the girl that she choked out like that, Like she pissed on the floor and everything. First of all, it was crazy. I watched that live, but also that girl's a BJJ black belt, you know. And the way she choked her out, like she choked her out cold, like that was a fucking nasty choke, you know. So I think that was impressive. And yeah, like Clark, she has very good attributes for women's MMA. I think like she's pretty big, she's strong, she has very good cardio. One of her fight that went the distance against Rep, it was at high elevation, and she threw like 200 strike, didn't gas out at all. So her cardio is insanely good. She's fucking tough. She's big. She's strong, and she has a good clinch game with a pretty decent ground game. For women's MMA, I think it's a good game overall at the mid low level, and yeah, I think she's good enough to be in the UFC. Her striking defense is not good, like you said. At distance, she's getting hit like a punching bag. But is that girl's the one that's going to take advantage of that? I'm not so sure. And even if she did take advantage of that, I think Clark Chin is very good. I don't think she's going to get knocked out here. So yeah, I do think she wins at high clip. I do agree with the line. But yeah, I do think she's going to finish the fight. I think it can be in round one, actually. Who knows, right? What's going to happen when Clark gets on top against this girl that we don't really know if she's MMA, like taking MMA seriously or whatever, you know? So I think Clark might get on top and just finish her quickly. Can be at round one. I wouldn't play 2-3. I think ITD is the way to go. There's no props yet out for this fight, but yeah, if ITD is like plus 125, plus 150 range, I think it's a decent play. But all depend on price because right now the under 2.5 is minus 105. Oh, they just dropped it actually. So Clark sub is plus 325 and Clark KO is plus 150. Oh, that's interesting. And that,
does everyone want to join me on the Clark sub side now? Plus 300? Is that what we're thinking?
I mean, yeah, at the price for sure. Mm-hmm. But bro, the under 2.5 is minus 105, but fight doesn't go. It's minus 275. If we want right now, we could play the fight go the distance and we can play the under 2.5 for like free money or something. They fuck it up. What the fuck?
Well, we're all trying to cook right now, so we'll see who gets money.
And yeah, they dropped the props for
$250 limits.
Oh, Salkilld sub is plus 300, KO plus 225. It's decent. Salkilld inside distance is plus 120. I don't mind that.
Drop, yeah. You're right. With plus 225 on the go the distance, you can easily.
Yeah,
Clark
you can
ITD minus 200.
What?
Clark ITD is minus 200, I think he said.
Okay. Yeah. That's not good enough.
No, with a sub, I think sub plus 325 is money.
Are y'all? Yeah, I think y'all are missing something kind of in front of our eyes. I don't know if I want to say it out loud.
Well, say it out loud. What are we missing here? Are you saying the points plus 650? No, 2 plus 215. What are we missing here? I'm staring right at it.
You're looking at the Clark fight, correct?
Yeah.
Look at the difference between some of these props.
Rob, are you seeing it?
I'm just trying to see. I think I'm going to play this up. I'm not looking at this.
Yeah. Look at it. Yeah,
I mean, you could play the sub and the KO, and it's way better than ITD. That's what keep me, I think.
No, look at the difference between fight does not go distance and under.
Oh yeah, but I already said that. That's the first thing.
I'm saying there's no need to even try to hedge it here. This is
if the fight doesn't go, if under 2.5 is minus 105, and Key is saying it doesn't go distance is minus 275, you're basically getting $2 and change for 2 minutes of fight time.
Yeah, I mean the under 2.5 is the way to play it because even then Clark ITD is minus 200 doesn't really make sense. But yeah. I think I like the sub better.
Yeah, I'm putting 50 on sub and 50 on under 2.5, and I'm done with this fight.
What do you think? You like the sub better or the?
Nah, fuck the sub. I mean, this is crazy discrepancy here.
Yeah. Okay, so they just dropped the KO and Cavalcanti. You can move on, Peg. to the next one.
Next fight, Austin Bashi versus Dorian Ramos. Austin Bashi is probably one of the hottest prospects out of the U.S. right now. 12-0, 22, 5-6. He's fighting Dorian Ramos. He was supposed to fight McMillan. I kind of thought McMillan was going to be a good bet at plus 250 when the fight was originally booked. Obviously, he backed out. Now we got this guy Ramos showing up on short notice. Ramos is 30 years old. He's 8-2. He's fighting out of Arizona. He's part of that Apex gym. I mean, he's 1-0 in the LFA. Right now, line on these two guys, Bashi is minus 500 to minus 600. Dorian Ramos plus 375 to plus 300. I'll go first on this one. I did tape on this. I mean, Austin Bashi is going to be one of those guys that the UFC wants to get him in young, and they're probably going to do like a slow build with him, make sure he gets his finishes early, kind of just build up his name. If you're looking at it, he beat that guy Oscar. I mean, that's probably, I think it's his best win on record. He beat him pretty handily. Oscar has fought decent competition. This guy's pretty much a wrestler. What he does best is wrestle. I'm not sure about his college wrestling, but that's what he does. He gets people down. He bullies you on the ground, and he can either find the KO, but he'll usually get your back in. He finds the back super easily, and then he usually gets the choke from there. If you notice, he has a short choke, 3 rear naked chokes. I mean, he's pretty much good to win this fight. I don't know how you would bet him at minus 500, maybe inside the distance, but who knows what that's going to be. That could be minus 200.
It's minus 200, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
No, it's minus 165.
What, him by sub is 165?
No, inside the distance. Sub is plus 200.
I don't mind that. Plus 200 for sub isn't bad. He's going to do that. If we look at Dorian Ramos, his only loss, he has one sub loss. He lost to he got triangle armbarred against a guy Matus Camillo. I mean, it's not really, he doesn't really, the jiu-jitsu that what's his name goes for, Austin, isn't really like armbar jiu-jitsu. It's more of like bully chokes and wrestling chokes. So he'll probably find the back and get a rear naked choke. Yeah, I would guess. Job, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Bashi's pretty good. You know, I think he got his black belt recently. The guy's only 22. He's small, you know, but like he seems strong. Good wrestling, like you said, but he really shine in the grappling department. And on the feet, I mean, he has some power. He has some good hooks. You know, he's pretty decent all around, I feel like, you know. And Ramos taking the fight on like 4 days notice, I think. So yeah, it's not going to be good for him. I don't think he has the best cardio to start with. And then you had the fact that he's on short notice. He's taking a step up in competition against an undefeated guy in Bashi, who's 12-0 at only 22 years old. I think the UFC probably wants this guy, to be honest. It's kind of crazy. The guy is almost my age, and he's going to be fighting maybe in the UFC. He's super young, you know. And like he has an amateur career, 2 fights, and then he has a lot of subs. I think there's a couple of ways you can play it. I'm not sure I like Bashi by sub. I think he could get a knockout here, especially with ground and pound. Is like if the other guy's tired. Not to say he has like the best ground and pound ever, but I don't think Ramos is that good. You know, he's decent. Yeah, he's not bad, but he makes a lot of mistakes on the ground. I think Bashi is going to be able to capitalize, especially as the fight goes on. So I think Bashi round 2, Bashi round 3 is the way to go. But the odds on Bet Online are not good to play. It's plus 325 and plus 600. I think you should wait on commercial, and you're probably going to get like plus 500 and plus 800 for that. And I think that's the way I would play the fight if I do, because I think Bashi is going to get a finish probably by sub, but that's another spot where I think the TKO on the ground is live. So yeah, I think Bashi gets it done round 2, 3. And yeah, I think he's going to have a good career in the UFC also. I like him as well.
Yeah, all right. Key, you got anything different here, or do we move on to the next one?
No, you can move on. On this last, to go back to the Clark fight, though, they did correct. I mean, I think that this is an insane. I think that this is kind of a must play. Under 2.5 at minus 110 now, and goes the distance is minus 215. I mean, and they've corrected the line multiple times now. So this is a correct line. I don't see a need to play sub or anything. I mean, you're getting minus 110, minus 105 range for a fight that is $1 more to go to not go the distance. I mean,
Yeah, the under's the way to go, but the limit's not good right now yet. It's
I got a unit down on it, so
it's 2 and 250. It's not terrible, but yeah, I think.
you can move on though, Pay.
I got a unit.
Do you think Bashi finished Key or just to
Yeah,
give it
I think the Bashi finishes here for what it's worth, but I'm not playing anything on this fight.
All right. So next fight we're looking at, this is Will Currie versus Jordan Santos. I mean, one second, my thing just crashed. Fuck. 1 second. William Currie, he's the new Cage Warrior prospect coming out. He's 12-3, 25, 6'3". Santos is 9-1, 27, 6 feet tall. Line on these guys, Will Currie is anywhere from -360 to -400. Ribiero is anywhere from +285 to +240. So, Drav, what do you think? I mean, I think William Currie wins this fight. No brainer. I think this is kind of them trying to get him into the UFC. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this guy's that good, to be honest. Like I don't really understand the hype. He's strong, he's big, he has some good grappling, good ground and pound, decent power and everything. He fought CLD twice. I get that, but I don't think he's that good. Like he's probably gonna beat this guy because I don't think Santos is very good either. But yeah, I don't think he's like Curry is gonna be a fate for me in the UFC. Like his gas thing's questionable. He makes a lot of mistakes in the grappling, even if he's like a good grappler himself. Like he get reversed. He lost a fight against Journeyman like recently, and then they gave him like 2 cans back to back. So it's like, yeah, I don't think he's that good, but he's a good finisher. And yes, Santos is kind of weird because he's one of the guys training with the Bonfim brothers, and you can see that he's not bad. Like he has decent striking, in and out movement, good jab, decent leg kicks. He seems to have good takedown defense and get up in general, but he does some mistakes. Like he can give up his back when he try to get back up and stuff like that. So I feel like Curry can take advantage of that. But that's another guy who didn't fight a lot recently. Like his last fight was at the end of 2022, and the fight before that was at the end of 2021. And he won 5 rounds in one of the fights I've watched. But like I don't think like he didn't fight anyone good really. And the guy is not a good finisher. I know if you look on his record, he has like 3 KO, 4 subs, 2 decision, but he doesn't have much power. And I don't think that he's a good finisher in general. I feel like he's going to be a decision fighter if he were to win this or just get in the UFC. Like I said, there's some improvements upside because he's only 27. The last time he fought, he was 25. And he's training now with the Bonfim Bros. He was not training with them before that. And that's a guy who like fought heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight. He fought a lot of weight class, right? And now he's taking this one at middleweight, with the right weight class for him. But even then, like Curry's going to be bigger than him. And he has all the narrative on his side. The UFC wants to build him and everything. But I feel like there's a scenario where Curry shit the bag and lose a decision. But there's also a scenario where he just get on top and get like a TKO. Like that's another spot. Like I'm boring with that, but I don't like the sub for Curry here at the number. They drop it right. Like he has 6 sub and he has 4 KO. So they drop the sub at +110. I think it's nasty. I wouldn't play that. And then the KO is +375, which I like because Santos can be hittable on the feet. I think Curry has some power on the feet, but also his ground and pound is very good. And sometimes he set up the sub with the ground and pound. So I think he could get a ground and pound TKO. And so if I were to play this fight, which I'm probably not going to do it, I will either play Will Curry by KO at +375, or I will play Santos by points at +550. But again, don't play +550 because it's going to be better on commercials. I think you're probably going to get like +650 on like drafting or FanDuel. So I like +650, +700 for Santos decision. I think it's pretty good because I think that's how you win. And I think Curry can potentially slow down if he doesn't get a finish and lose a decision. But considering like the UFC wants him, all the narratives on his side, he's bigger, stronger, and he has a grappling upside, and he fought better people. I think he's the rightful favorite, obviously, but he's not someone I'm willing to play almost minus 400 for. So yeah, if anything, I guess you take the KO on his side, but I do think he's gonna get the job done inside the distance, probably inside 2 rounds.
Gotcha. Jay, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, this is a fight that I didn't get to do a ton of tape on. I'm familiar with Currie, and I was able to watch a little bit of Santos. Currie is not that good to me. I know that everybody seems to love him for some reason because he's a Cage Warriors guy that can actually wrestle. But yeah, I'm not high on this guy. I think that this guy like drops that would be a fade at the UFC level, but I think that this is an obvious setup spot to get him into the UFC. It seems like it's been a long time coming, so I think he gets it done here.
Okay. Main event: Igor Cavalcanti versus Salkilld.
Hey, did you break down the fight, or am I tripping?
Yeah, I said it's a setup fight. It's easy. Will Curry's going to get it done. That's my breakdown. -5. What am I going to break? What is going to be so crazy at a minus 360 line? What am I going to say? Unless like you broke it down where you said the decision plus 600 or Will Curry inside the distance. It's pretty much the only two ways to play the fight, unless you think Ribiero is going to find a finish, which I don't see either. So I don't know. There's nothing really to say for me personally. Do have stuff to say about the next fight. Igor Cavalcanti versus Salkilld. Hyun-Ko is 10-2, 28, 5'10. Cavalcanti is 26, 5'11, 80-inch reach. Right now, the line on these two guys, Cavalcanti is -260 to -300. Ko is anywhere from plus 200 to plus 240. Looking at this fight back already, we look at Cavalcanti's hard to find tape on. That's alarming as is. You know, being 9-0, he gets a lot of his record shows a lot of KO finishes. One of them was like a 12-second one where he just runs across the cage and just blasts this guy. I remember seeing that. But outside of that, you can't really find too much tape on him versus a guy in Ko where you can see his tape and you know what you're getting. So I would rather bet a dog at plus 200 and kind of have a general idea on what I'm getting. We know he's coming out of that Team Stun Gun camp. They're a pretty good team over there. There's a lot of good fighters that come from there, from the Korean scene. And you know, Cavalcanti, he's technically supposed to be a grappler first, and he's finding all these KOs. But like, if you can't find all the tape and prove it, like, you don't know like what type of competition he's getting. And if you look at the fight league that he's in for this, like, I've never heard of Inside Fight League, and there's no tape online, and he's getting every single fight is around 1 KO. So you tell me what that tells you about the type of competition he's fighting. 5-4, 6-5, 2-2. Like, that's the type of competition he's fighting. And then you look at a guy like Ko, he's finding these KO finishes. He has KO power, so I like him by KO. I will say that. Coincidentally, it's his last name, so it could be a sign. But he's fighting guys that aren't too much better. He's got some guy on here, Sakura, who's 28-27. Now he's 30-28. But he's fighting, I guess, better competition in this AFC league. We've seen, I think we've seen, what's his name was just out of there from South Korea. One of the Road to UFC guys was just fighting on that scene. I can't remember his name right now, but I don't know. I think it's worth taking the dog shot here. Jav, what do you think?
You want to fade this guy?
Let me see what he looks like. Yeah, he looks like Gilbert Burns with an afro on, bro. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to get a good read on this one, to be honest. I did a lot of tape on Ko, but I can't find many tapes on Cavalcanti. I think I found 2 fights, 1 amateur and 1 BJJ match for him. But like, I can see the guys working on his grappling. I think he just got promoted to a brown belt recently, and he's doing grappling competition. So that's interesting. He doesn't have all KO pick, by the way. He has 2 subs. And yeah, like I said, he's working on his grappling. So, and he's someone that has a good guillotine with what I've seen on tape. And maybe he's going to try to expose Ko in this department also, because there's no many tapes on Cole grappling defense, takedown defense, and everything. Almost all his fight, it's him striking, which I think he's a good striker, to be honest. Like, he has a good jab, nasty leg kicks, good in and out movements, and good cardio. And he fought better people, like you said, but he didn't fight like great competition. Also, like 2 fights ago, 3 fights ago, he fought a guy who was like 52 years old.
Yeah, that's
That was hard.
crazy.
That was hard to watch. So it's like he's not the best either, and his chin's questionable a little bit. He got knocked out 2 times, but to his credit, I mean, if you watch a knockout, like one of them was way back in the days when he was like 22, I think, or 23. He was super small back then, and he just got caught. It happened. And the other fight, like he kind of tried to swing and bang a little bit too much with the other dude, and he got KO'd. But yeah, I think overall he's pretty good, and he has power himself. And yeah, at least I know that he has decent cardio, and I can trust him as the fight goes on. And I know what to expect with him. I like also what I'm seeing on Instagram. He went to Bang Thai Muay Thai. He trained with Physive. He went to AKA for his training camp, and he went to Extreme Couture. So that's a guy who's willing to put on the work, and that's all in the like 8, 9 last week. So he's someone that willing to go get the right training partner, travel, and everything to get the work in, which I respect. And he also put a lot of size on. He looks to be on some type of vitamins, if I can say that recently. Like his build has changed. Cavalcanti, on the other hand, like I said, he's a madman. He has power. He's remind me a little bit of a Terrence McKinney, just the way he has all first round finishes and the way he fight and the way he's trying to kill people. But that's also a style where he can get caught himself playing that game. And like we don't know much about his chin. Can he take a punch? I don't know, man. Can he will he gas out after 5 minutes? Maybe. We don't know either. Can he check a leg kick? Because I can see a world where like Ko blast his leg 3 times and this guy is like, oh shit. And maybe after 3 minutes he didn't finish him and he's having a cardiac arrest. I can see that as well. I can't guarantee, but there's some unknowns about him and too many unknowns for him to be minus 260. On paper, it looked like the UFC trying to set him up for success because like he's undefeated, all first round finishes, and they give him someone who has been knocked out 2 times already. So, but at the same time, the way I'm looking into it, I'm like, there's not like the tapes I have, the datas I have, it has to be a dog or pass for me. I was able to actually play the opener at plus 375 on Ko. I couldn't track or tip it because the line moved right away, but it was just a no-brainer for me. So as of now, I don't have like real action on the fight, if I can say it that way. Like I don't have any bets tracked for this one, and it's probably going to be a pass for me at the current price. I'm just going to ride with my plus 375 on track on it, but um, like plus 200 is not bad, but just the fact that he could get bunked in the first round and all the favorites have been rolling lately, I feel like that's just a spot where he's going to be a value loser at the end of the day. But yeah, it could be a world where like it's like one of the best bet ever. And like also his round 2, 3 can be decent. Round 2 for Ko is plus 1,000. Round 3 is plus 2,000. Again, we can't assume that he's gonna gas out, but he looks like a guy who's physically strong, who's built, and who's gonna go for the kill early. And if he doesn't get it, I feel like he's likely to gas out, but we don't really know yet. So yeah, if I were to play Cavalcanti, I think round 1 plus 115 is the way to go. I wouldn't play KO because I think he could get a sub. And yeah, so that's basically it. Either Ko money line or you go with Cavalcanti round 1 plus 115 if you want to play that side. But I don't think you can lay the big price tag.
Okay. Key, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I need a wider price to play Ko here. I think Draw broke it down pretty well. Cavalcanti, we just don't know. He seems to be a pretty elite athlete, but we just don't know. I think that Ko has the better process, obviously. If Ko doesn't die early within the first 5 minutes, this fight gets interesting. Potential live bet spot. That's how I'll be looking to play it at this point, now that the price has gotten away from me.
I'm going to stop you because that's important. They switched all the props for Clark. Okay, listen to
Yeah,
this.
I've seen it. I've already so they switched everything. The under 2.5 is now plus 100. Goes distance is now minus 105. I think the fight doesn't go distance, and minus 105 is the way to play it at this point. Not that big of a difference between Clark's ITD, which is now like plus 115.
Clark ITD is plus 115, and the sub prop is plus 350, and they adjust the KO at plus 175. I think now it all make more sense. They just fucked up at first.
Yeah.
You can continue, my bad, bro.
Yeah, but I think that this is I think that there's an easy live bet spot if Code doesn't die early. We've seen Code die early, so that is the risk. But the Cavalcanti I don't know why he's here. I don't know what the fuck tape that they've seen that we haven't seen. And honestly, a lot of the scouting for this whole season is just pretty questionable in general.
Yeah, I agree. All right, guys, that's the show. We are going to be doing our episode. I guess I'll see you guys again in 2 days. We're going to be recording again for Vegas 97. It's going to be a good card for an Apex card. I think it's going to be a lot of action. Obviously, I broke it down last week for our first look video. We're going to actually break it down again and give out actual bets and picks for it this time, since it'll be the real episode. We'll probably release that. I'll put it up Wednesday night, I think. We'll do that, and then we'll be going live again for UFC 306 the following week. So that's it, guys. That's the show. Good luck with Dana White Contender Series. Remember how volatile it is. Don't put all your bankroll on it. It's not worth it, but you got to have some scratch on it to watch it. So I get it. So we'll see. Put a favorites parlay in. Hopefully it hits. That's what I recommend.
Yeah, the truck has been winning lately. You can put all the favorites, and it's probably gonna win, right? That's how it goes.
Exactly. And this is one of those cards where they know the prospects they want. Like going back and looking at it, if I were to make a parlay, I would do Currie, Bashi, Clark, and then Quillian. Those four in a parlay, and then just leave it. That'll probably hit.
Yeah, it probably is.
So that's actually exactly what I'm going to do. So I have a bet on every fight, and I can actually watch the card. So, all right, guys, that's our breakdowns. We'll see you in 2 days when we break down UFC Vegas 97. Peace.